Nearly 2 years after a KXAN investigation exposed major billing and customer service issues with the state's tollway system, the agency is turning TxTag operations over to the Harris County Toll Road Authority. This week on Inside the Investigation, senior investigative producer David Barrere explains for most, that transition means having their accounts not transferred and inactive. David, welcome to Inside the Investigations, where we always take a look at some of our most compelling investigations that have come out of our office. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so David, fortunately, our entire team really is familiar with TxTag because we launched that huge project where we were looking at, years-long issues that have been plaguing that agency, complaints that were continuing to come into us. But at the end of last year, we heard big news about TxTag, that they were switching and moving all of these accounts over to the Harris County Toll Authority. Does that mean TxTag is shutting down? Explain to us what's going on.
Is TxTag shutting down? Sort of, maybe not really. I think we've tried to get to the very bottom of that. TxDOT's position on this is that no, the TxTag brand is not going away. But the more we dug into it, the more it looks like there's really not going to be a lot of TxTag left moving forward. Most of the accounts that existed, the majority, 60%, were not transferred over to the Harris County Toll Road Authority. The ones that were transferred, about 900, a little over 900,000, they'll still use their TxTag since the account transferred over, but the billing will be through Hectra now. So moving forward, what exists of TxTag, there will be some signage on the roads that they're not just going to take down immediately. It'll remain up with no time frame for bringing it down. And then you can't log into your TxTag account anymore. You have to go to Hectra. So what exists now will be TxDOT, or what remains of TxTag, trying to collect outstanding bills from before the switch over. So does TxTag exist anymore? Sort of, not what
kind
it was. And going forward, it'll be more and more Hectra, and you can kind of see TxTag fading away to an extent.
And this is one of those stories that, as you and Matt were working on it, everybody in our office was kind of like, because who doesn't? Most of us have TxTag accounts or some interaction with them. So we were all genuinely curious what was going to happen to all these customers, some of them being us. But let's watch the story, because you guys talked to someone who's being impacted.
Go back this way to the truck.
At 77, Mike Stratton isn't slowing down.
I drive a lot every day.
This Burnett County home builder says he drives hundreds of miles a day,
It'd be a lot easier if I could get on a toll road without him being harassed.
racking up more than $1,000 in toll bills and late fees.
This is all 2024. This is 2023.
The Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority, which has customers using TxTag stickers while driving on its Austin area toll roads, labeled him a habitual violator, blocked him from renewing his vehicle registration, and sent his balances to collection.
This is my military retirement.
Aside from the CTRMA bills, Stratton, a disabled Vietnam veteran, traces additional toll troubles back to his TxTag account starting in 2023.
So why not just pay it?
I don't know it. I'm a disabled veteran. I earned that right. And I'm not going to pay something that I'm not supposed to be paying.
That's because many tolling agencies, including CTRMA and TxDOT, allow disabled veterans with plates like this to drive for free. Stratton says he spent hours on the phone and in person trying to clear his name and mounting bills, fighting for a benefit he earned.
Has that gotten you anywhere?
No. Not a bit.
Instead, he got this letter telling him his account would not be transferred over to the Harris County Toll Road Authority. Stratton is one of 1.4 million, or 60% of TxTag customers whose accounts were not transferred during the switch because TxTag says they weren't in good standing. The story now raising questions about how many other accounts were left behind due to possible billing mistakes.
How did Hectra and TxDOT decide which accounts would be transferred over? And then what happens to those accounts that are in this limbo status right now?
The decision on how to handle their accounts and which ones came over was more of a TxTag decision. Through the negotiations, what was determined was to just transfer over the accounts that were in good standing, and that's exactly what we did.
The executive director of Hectra, Robert Trevino, says his tolling authority was selected by TxDOT, the state agency overseeing TxTag, based on its 40-year track record in Houston.
Can you reassure TxTag customers that their experience will be different under Hectra?
Hectra's billing accuracy, when you have a tag or transponder, we strive for 99% accuracy.
Trevino avoided answering questions about TxTag's performance, but did tell us
Hectra has a different way of doing business. It's unique. It's unique in the fact that we really focus on accuracy and on good customer service.
KXAN asked for responses to TxDOT's initial request for information to Hectra and other vendors, but TxDOT has asked the Attorney General's office if the records can be withheld. The switch to Hectra follows years of TxTag struggles with billing and customer service and several different vendors handling the system, the last contract costing more than $230 million over the past 5 years.
The issues that they were dealing with and the problems they had here, you don't foresee those same problems happening under Hectra, do you?
I'll just say that we pride ourselves on accuracy, and we know what we've provided to our customers in the past. And we're going to provide that same level of service to all the new account holders that came over from TxTag.
TxDOT is still trying to collect $57 million in outstanding balances from TxTag accounts that weren't transferred. The agency also acknowledged there were accounts that still had credit totaling $6.8 million. Money TxDOT says it will attempt to return, but could eventually become unclaimed property.
So why the confusion if they have your records?
Because somebody doesn't know how to do their job.
Back with Stratton, days after we reached out, CTRMA apologized. The tolling authority says it will implement new policy changes to prevent future mix-ups, saying Stratton now doesn't owe a thing.
How do you feel?
I am happy.
So we called to give the good news.
If it wasn't for y'all, you'd have never got done. And I do appreciate everything y'all have done.
I made you a promise that I was going to show you me shredding this toll bill. Here we go.
With his bill problem solved,
It's gone.
Stratton now needs to sign up for a new toll tag. TxDOT is directing customers to Hectra for an easy tag, a move the agency previously said will save the state money and customers time.
You all are very familiar with some of the struggles that we've had, and this is going to be a much improved customer service arrangement.
In roughly the last 2 years, records we obtained showed Hectra received 76 escalated complaints, a tiny fraction of its overall EasyTag customers. Most were about toll violations. We'll continue to monitor this system and wanted to see what state leaders are planning to do as well to make it better. So we reached out to every member of the Senate Transportation Committee and found some are working on legislation, like this bill right here, that would cap late fees to under $50 a year. We plan to reach out to every member of the House Transportation Committee to see if the Hectra switch and oversight are on their radar as well. At the Capitol, Matt Grant, KXAN Investigates.
I know we're all jealous that we can't run our bills through the shredder. How did you guys find this guy who's quite a character? How did you guys find this case?
So that was Mike Stratton, and he, like many other people, have emailed us about problems with the toll roads and their billing and stuff. So we reached back out to him and heard his story. We profile his situation. He was dealing with sort of two separate issues. On the one hand, he had all these outstanding CTR, Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority bills that were associated with tolls that he didn't want to pay on because he's a disabled veteran with license plates that prove that, and the bills were racked up on highways that are can be free for disabled toll roads that are potentially free for disabled veterans. So he wasn't paying those. CTRMA resolved that when we took that issue to them. In tandem with that, he also has a TxTag, And so he ran into all these issues that we really go deeply into in this story. And that's sort of something that I think a lot of people in Central Texas deal with. You know, our toll systems are all kind of twisted, intermingled together. You can be on a CTRMA highway, get billed by them if you don't have a properly functioning toll tag, and then you can turn onto another toll road and be on a TxDOT one. So he had these two issues. The CTRMA one got resolved, and then he got a letter in November along with 1.4 million other TxTag account or former TxTag account customers, informing them that their accounts were essentially not going they weren't going to be transferred over. That means they're inactive. And what would happen with those accounts going forward is if they had a balance that they would the TxDOT would be collecting on it.
So you report that TxTag decided to only transfer these accounts that were in good standing. Do you have any insight as to why they made that decision?
That's a good question. We don't have like an exact answer on the rationale why the net was cast so wide and there were more accounts not transferred than were in the end. We asked Hectra that question. They said that was really more of a TxDOT decision. So we're working on getting that. I think you can imagine transferring only the accounts that were in good standing and active in the last year with the credit cards updated and everything, no outstanding bills. That would give, Hectra the cleanest slate possible. But we don't have a direct answer on that question.
So, okay, they're trying to collect millions of dollars, TxTag, but you also reported that they have millions of dollars in positive balances. That is, people who were kind of continually uploading money for any type of, exchange they might have. So now it could go to unclaimed property. Why wouldn't they just apply that money to people's to what they owe, their balance to what they owe and see where it lands?
Yeah, it seems logical. We asked that question because there's two sides to the equation there. There's accounts that are former TxTag or inactive TxTag accounts that owe money, and there's $57 million owed, if I'm getting my numbers right. And then on the other side, there's TxTag accounts that still had money in them, and there's about $6.8 million in positive balances. And so TxDOT did say there were accounts that had negative and positive. Their response was that they didn't want to make the choice for a customer of how they were going to pay. They wanted to give the customers back the money that were in positive balances, and then the customer has the choice of how, the method that they want to resolve any balances that are due.
Okay.
But then I'll also add, so just the way that it's going to work with the money being returned, that's going to happen automatically. But TxDOT said customer could call the TxTag customer service line and inquire about it. The money will be refunded to the primary credit card on the account if there was one, and if there wasn't, then they're going to cut checks and send them. And if the checks aren't deposited, the checks are going to go out in the coming months. If they're not deposited within 180 days or 6 months, then it would go to unclaimed property. And at that point, once money's in unclaimed property, it's up to people to find it and claim it.
So maybe some money coming in the mail or to your credit card. Okay. So did TxDOT give any more reasons for why it ultimately decided to go with Hector? Because that's a big move to move all of this over to them.
Yeah, I think we've been reporting on, they've been dealing with issues with their billing and customer service for years. So they've been trying to get that straightened out. And this was the last move, I guess. They put out a bid, or I'm sorry, a request for information from vendors, including and tolling entities like Hectra. And what they got from Hectra, they decided was the best option. The executive director of TxDOT, Mark Williams, said that this was going to be saving a lot of money for the state, that the cost of transaction, like the cost to handle a toll transaction was going to be about cut in half. So that should hopefully translate to savings for TxDOT and the state over the long term.
Well, David, thank you so much for joining us. And we know Matt is at the TxDOT meeting right now to see if there's potentially any updates with this. So we'll definitely keep you updated. You can read Matt's full story on KXAN.com under the Investigates tab. Matt and David's story, I'm sorry. And you can also explore our entire, I'm trying to cut you out. You did nothing, I guess.
I'm here.
Matt and David's story. You can explore our entire series on KXAN.com, also under the Investigates tab. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kelly.